My name's Chris Williams from Brisbane in Australia, and I ride for the professional men's team. Well, my story comes in two parts. I wasn't really into exercise at one point in my life, so just over a decade ago I was an overweight smoker. I moved into a share house when I went to university, and we were watching a triathlon on television, and with my friend and my girlfriend at the time. My girlfriend made a comment about a triathlete coming out of the water, and I scoffed and said I could do that. And 3 months later I sold my car, bought a bike, and started running, swimming and cycling. And eventually I gave up the running and swimming and focused on cycling. And then a few years later I was in a race in Australia, a local national series race, and I thought I was in pretty good shape, but I was struggling. I couldn't hang on to the bunch, I kept getting dropped. I thought I was just dehydrated, so I went to the hospital, and that's when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I was told that endurance sport like cycling and diabetes wasn't a good combination, and I'd have to give it up, at least for a period of time. I was pretty devastated. I'd been focusing on racing and cycling so much that when someone tells you can't do it anymore, it's a bit of a shock. So I was ready to sell my bike. I was moping around a fair bit, but luckily I had some friends there and teammates that weren't going to let me sit there and feel sorry for myself. I didn't know much about type 1 diabetes at the time, never mind knowing that there were any athletes. I'd heard about a rugby league player in Australia that had type 1 diabetes, but you can't really fathom what it takes to have an entire team of athletes made with type 1 diabetes. So yeah, it's great to have the project now. It's difficult to picture myself as a role model. I think a lot of my friends would have that same difficulty. But no, it's great to see all the fans, all the young people, to really give them something to strive for and a role model, a guide, an example for them to follow, so that they don't have to give up on their dreams. Well, I'm 35 this year, so for me the tour in 2021 is probably not going to happen. So these young guys that are coming through, they're the next generation of cyclists. They're the guys that are going to be doing the tour around 2021. So it's extremely important that we start the development process now. We do the talent ID camps, we do the junior teams, we have the development riders, and they're racing, they're learning about how to race with diabetes, how to train with diabetes, so that when it comes around to the Tour de France, they're ready to go.
My name's Sam Brand. I'm a development rider for Team Novo Nordisk, and I'm from the Isle of Man. I was diagnosed, and there wasn't, at that time when I was diagnosed, there wasn't a mass amount of reporting, there wasn't a mass amount of information going around in the public domain about it, so it was sort of carry on. Like, I don't remember ever knowing enough about it to see it in a negative light. I always did sport. Did sport like growing up, just kicking a football around, not really anything too intense. I always wanted to be the best at school. I was always doing something. When I started to get older, I started to take it a bit more serious. First serious competition was football, that then soon moved over to triathlon when I got to university. Last season, 2015, I finished second in the 2024 age group at the British Championships with 12th overall. Found out at the early days when it was a smaller sort of outfit, and it grew a bit more, and as the social media started to appear, I sort of got in touch through that way, and they got in touch back when they'd seen one of my posts, and that's sort of rolled on from there. There are people who've had stories about being told that they couldn't do endurance sports, and it was something that was fantastic to see when I found out that it was out there. It was inspiration, really. So I'm quite competitive, so as soon as I found out that they were competing, it was something that I wanted to know more about and get involved in. Coming from a triathlon background, I had to ride a bike, but never as intense and day to day and for as long. So the Talent ID camp was a really good eye opener to see what it may be like to ride full time. I was 3 months into my first full-time job, having finished university, and it was an itch that I still had to scratch. I felt that I had more to give in a sport, and within triathlon and cycling going sort of interchangeable together, it was a fantastic opportunity. The transition's tough. It's something that I enjoy, so it makes that the sort of how hard it is, it makes it much easier because I'm passionate about it and I enjoy doing it. So all the negatives of riding and the pain, and it's just all wiped out by the fact I get to do what I love doing. Short-term goals, be a sponge, like knowledge. I need to learn fast how to ride a bike and how to race a bike, and I've got some good athletes around with the pro guys and the rest of the development squad to learn from. So the goal would be just to gain some experience in bike racing. Well, as Phil keeps on saying to us, 17-year-olds making the tour, I'm a bit older but new to the sport, so it'd be great to be part of the first all diabetes team to make the Tour de France.
My name is Brian Kamstra, 22 years of age. I'm from the Netherlands and I'm a pro cyclist. I used to play soccer, a little bit duathlon, but most of all I was a runner. So probably around 11, 12 years old, and I think when I was 14, 15 years old it got like pretty serious. National championships and participation in the European championships, so that's like the big achievements. When I got diagnosed, a half year later I immediately stopped because I had nobody who could teach me something about diabetes and running to manage it. So I met Martijn from the pro team and he introduced me to the team, and yeah, that's basically how it started. Yeah, it's now 52 weeks ago, so it's like a year now. A year ago I came here and I was new to cycling, new to the team, and yeah, I had such big eyes. I saw everything, the truck and all the riders, the kit, the bike, so that was great. We did it a little bit strange. Martijn and me, we sent an email to Vasily, the team boss, and Phil, the CEO of the team, and they responded back, "You're welcome to come." But I think the team was a little bit, they probably thought, okay, as a new kid, and Martijn, it's nice you invite him to the team, but this is not how it works. But we give him a chance, and it worked out well. So yeah, they were surprised because I rode my bike for I think 2 months then, so they were surprised that I was so good. Yeah, I was excited at the first place, but the second place I needed to move to Atlanta, and it was a big change because I live with my parents, and I got my university in the Netherlands, and I stopped that and moved to Atlanta, and yeah, it went well, and I stayed there for 3 months, and then I got a state share contract for the pro team, and then I went back home, so that was good. Yeah, I was pretty nervous because it was my first race ever, and yeah, I started at zero, the bottom. I needed to learn how to ride in a peloton and echelons and everything, but it worked out well, and I raced good there, so that was a big relief for myself, and also I showed myself that I was a good rider. I saw all the riders you normally see on TV, and now I was part of that race, but it was a little bit too hard for me at the short time I was racing. But I raced this year again there, so hopefully I can improve it, and that's nice. You race it the second year, and you can see if you improve. But it was a nice experience. Only it was after the second stage I was already really tired, and I stopped in the third stage. So I think the last race of the season we raced there with 3 Dutch guys, and we finished well there. We worked for Martijn, and one day I worked for Martijn because he collects some seconds in a breakaway, and I tried to keep him out of the wind and get him in a good position for don't get dropped, and we finished 22 and 23 in that stage, and we were like, oh, we're pretty much in the front now, and that was great. I saw I was growing as a cyclist. Yeah, that I was part of the team, and not that I can compete in the team. I can hold up with these guys and train with these guys, and that's great. Not like you come new to cycling and you need to struggle struggle to get the level the other riders have. Yeah, I got some big races. We started in Australia, Kettle Evans Ocean Race, then the Herald Sun Tour. I hope to perform that well, and then the Tour of Philippines. Last year Scott won their stage, and we try to do this again and even better, hopefully a good GC. And I do Strade Bianca, and that's a pretty big race, and I hope I can finish there and hopefully ride well. That's the big goals for me in the beginning of the season. La Tour de France. I hope to ride there. Hopefully I can be the man for the GC or ride there well, and hopefully we have a strong team then. That's the goal for the team, and that's the goal for me to ride there well. Now it's a big family for me. It's like a warm bath. I come home there, and it's great to see all these people every time, and yeah, it's great to be with this team.
I'm Scott Ambrose from New Zealand, and I'm a pro cyclist. See, I was diagnosed in October of 2013. I went training in the morning, and it was a coffee ride, so super easy, and I was dropping from that ride to the cafe. So my coach's wife, who was on the ride at the time, said, go get a blood test, check everything was all right. So I went in there, and straight away from the doctors I was rushed into hospital, laying on the emergency bed, and I was told I was type 1 diabetic. And naturally I was in tears and crying and stuff, but it was weird because it was more of a sense of relief. I thought it was something way worse than that. I thought I couldn't ride a bike, so to be told it was something I could manage and control, I was relieved that it wasn't something worse. Yeah, my granddad has type 1 diabetes, and he's had it since I was born, so he lives a normal life. I've never seen him hold himself back from anything, so that reassured me that I can do whatever I want in life. If it's active or in business or whatever I wanted to do, I could do it and not have to worry about having diabetes. I started when I was at school. My friend did triathlon, so I thought that looked pretty cool, so I was going to do that, but then found out swimming wasn't my thing, and running was, but duathlon wasn't that big in New Zealand. So I stuck to cycling and got pretty good at it. Won a national school title when I was under 15, and then just kept going from there. I won the under 17 Tour of Canberra, and some of the past winners are Cameron Meyer, Sam Bewley, who are all World Tour professionals now. So winning that and seeing who else has won it, I thought I was on a pretty good pathway to some bigger things. When I found out about Team Novo Nordisk, I knew it was possible. And seeing photos of Harvey racing in Tour of Turkey and attacking the World Tour guys, then I knew that these guys are just as good, if not better than half the field. So that reassured me that it is still possible, and I can be faster, seeing how good they were. My coach told me when I was lying in hospital, he said, I'll get you there if we'll get there together. So the day I was out of hospital, I was riding, learning how to manage my diabetes while training, and yeah, just from there I was riding and training to get into the professional team. I was a little bit shocked at first. I was nervous, I was a little bit shy, and then my first race was Tour of Denmark, so it's our adopted home race, so it was even more of a shock, thrown in the deep end. And that race went well. I made the breakaway in stage 3, and I surprised myself there, so I started off on a high, and the team were all welcoming, and I learnt so much from them in the first few weeks of being with them that yeah, I've just felt a part of the family ever since then. Yeah, the first race was Tour of Philippines, and I managed to win stage 2, which was an awesome feeling. Me and Eunice made the breakaway, and then the last 5k I was soloed into the win. So raising my hands with the Team Novo Nordisk jersey was an amazing feeling, and knowing it was the team's first win, it just put icing on the cake, and it was a good day. I think I've matured a lot. I learned a lot in my first year. That was one of my main goals, was to learn from the team and learn my body and racing, and I think I'm coming in this year a lot stronger, and I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do to help the team and hopefully get another win and help the team get many more wins. Definitely to race the Tour de France in 2021 with Team Novo Nordisk. I think that'd be an amazing feeling of being able to inspire everyone in the world with diabetes on the biggest stage in cycling and one of the biggest sporting events in the world. I think racing it's one thing, and then racing it with a double meaning to inspire everybody is something I dream of. It's funny, because I'm so new to diabetes, only being diagnosed for 2 years, I'm impressed seeing how young they are and they're riding their bikes with type 1 diabetes, and I learn off them as much as they learn off me about racing. So we're all equal, and I'm looking to learn off them just as much as they are to learn off me. It's like a family. We all learn off each other, we support each other. We've all got this common bond of having diabetes, and it's an amazing team to be a part of. Being able to inspire young and old people with diabetes and racing our bikes to show them that they don't have to give up their dreams, it's something I'm really proud of to be a part of, and I hope it goes on for a long time.
My name is Matt Vogel, and I'm head of marketing and medical affairs for Team Novo Nordisk. Well, I've had type 1 diabetes myself for about 26 years, and sports was always part of my life. When I was first diagnosed with diabetes, I realized that exercise was a great way to manage my condition, and so I continued riding my bike, playing American football, and eventually that led me to racing triathlon. Then, in 2006, I met Phil Southerland, and he had just assembled a group of 8 people, all with diabetes, to do the Race Across America. And I was really inspired and offered my help, more along the lines of pumping up a tire or driving a follow car. But he said, no, we really want you on the team. So I joined this 8-person team, and in 2007, we completed the Race Across America, which is 5,000 kilometers from California to New Jersey. And we not only won the race, but we set the record and beat all the other teams that didn't have diabetes. So Team Novo Nordisk is unique in that all of our athletes have diabetes. We've got nearly 100 athletes from almost 20 different countries, and each of them are living with either type 1 or type 2 diabetes. Our professional men's cycling team, we've got 18 riders, and they all have type 1 diabetes. So training and racing with diabetes has its own unique challenges. Someone with diabetes, in order to have peak performance, must have their blood sugar in a target range. And in order to check that, their blood sugar, they use a continuous glucose monitor. And if they're above their target, they may take some medication. If they're below their target, they may eat or drink something. But it's unique because everyone has their own regime on how to manage their own diabetes. So it's really important that you're monitoring your blood sugar 24/7, as well as working with your healthcare professional. So our medical team is a little bit bigger than other pro cycling teams. We've got about 9 healthcare professionals on staff. And so they not only look after the athletic performance and the safety of the riders, but they're also looking at the diabetes management side. So we've got nurses on staff that are monitoring the continuous glucose monitor reports, and then if they see anything that's off target, then they'll contact the riders and help them make adjustments. So off season, like for instance at camp where we're at right now, we have quite a few new athletes coming into the program, into our pipeline. So we've got new juniors and new development riders. And for them, racing at this level and training at this level is completely new. So that means we need to pay extra special care to their diabetes management. So a little bit extra attention to those riders so they can be successful in the season and hopefully be successful when they're a pro. So nutrition is an important part of any professional cyclist regime, and Team Novo Nordisk is no different. So we actually have an on-staff dietitian who helps with the nutrition for all of our riders. So for our riders, they really are eating the same things that the other professional cyclists are eating. The only difference is they might have to eat at different times in order to help manage their blood sugar. So for instance, if their blood sugar is going below target, they might have to eat a little bit more. We currently don't have a chef, we rely on our dietitian. So for our younger riders, our junior and development riders with diabetes, this is something new for them, where the training intensity is much more intense than they're used to. And so we pay extra special care and help them, especially educate them on their diabetes management. So really paying close attention to their continuous glucose monitor, as well as their medication management and their food management. And a lot of it's just trial and error. So the riders can help recognize some of the trends and rely on the medical team and then work out the right regime that works for them so that when they're going full gas at the season, they know how to manage their diabetes. A continuous glucose monitor is a tool that all Team Novo Nordisk riders use. And essentially it's a 2-piece device. One is a sensor that sits on your skin and is measuring your glucose every minute. And it's transmitting that glucose to a small little device. And so you get your blood sugar reading as well as a trending arrow that tells you where you're going. So with our riders with diabetes, we're always looking for performance, nutrition, as well as weight management. And some individuals with diabetes do have a bit more of a challenge managing their weight, just because if their blood sugar is below target, that means they have to eat more. And if there's a continuing trend there, then they could add on a few pounds. And so that's why our medical team is really dialed into that. And we'll just help the riders manage their diabetes as well as their weight management. While we're at a race, we always have a medical professional on staff. First of all, just to monitor the rider's safety. If there's any crashes, that's their first priority. But all of our medical staff are trained in diabetes. And so it's just that extra added edge that our medical staff must have because all of our riders have diabetes.
My name is Vasily Davidenko. I am a Senior Vice President of Athletic Operation at Team Novo Nordisk. So physiological tests during the off-season help us, and also we used a program where we can monitor riders on a daily basis, and we can see what they need, where they are with their form. And when we move to a training camp, we try to align them all so they're ready for good training here in Spain. It's a very complicated process, but I think that's how you bring riders to top level. You need to make sure they have all, they understand all, and they follow all. We have good coaching program in place, and we basically begin season with new bike positions, adjustments if guys need in their positions, and then everyone receive his personal program. I think the main goal is to beat a record that we set last year, top 10s, and of course we want to win more races. Of course we want to see our natural progress, how we're gonna be at the top races. And today is a great day because I just saw news that we got invitation to Milano-San Remo again, a second year in a row. And big addition this year is the Tour of Poland, which is World Tour stage race. That's where we're gonna see where we are and what's the next gonna be. I mean 2017. If we're ready for higher level, if we're ready for a Grand Tour appearance. So it depends. I will say 2016 it's very important to us to understand where we're standing and what the future gonna be. Of course, the long term is Tour de France in 2021. I would say Javier Mejia is our solid rider, and he's a guy that he can handle tough races. And in fact, last year he was second in Colorado. He was in top 10 in GC in Tour of Turkey. I would say he's our big hope. I would say we are one of the youngest team in the peloton, and we do have young riders who I believe they just need a few more years, and they will start showing their potential on the long stage races. If you look from outside, you'll notice there's no difference. Everything is same with just any other professional cycling team. But if you go inside the operation, you will realize we have more challenges. It's more complicated than it appears actually. But the good thing is we're doing everything right. We want to make sure one day we're not going to regret that, oh, we should do something differently. We have an amazing team, and we work to make sure our riders reach top levels. And I think we're doing well. In 2013, it was first year, the team was a little bit shaky, a little bit too young, but now 3 years later, look, we have team that been at Milano-San Remo, competing more than 150 race days per year. We made pretty good progress. And of course, you know, the fact is that you need to make sure all riders, they have self-discipline, they understand what is professional cycling, and they also know how to manage diabetes. So all those things together brings basically to success. It's an interesting time now because this year we decided to skip St. Louis, and we begin in Australia, Cadel Evans Classic. After that we're moving, actually at the same time we're racing in Dubai. Dubai, it's already a good race where we can do well. We have good sprinters, Martin Verschoor and Andrea Perron. When they are together, when they do well, we do well. And after that, of course, Milano-San Remo is most important race for us. So we hope to do well. Well, I'm actually very exciting about 2016 and beyond, because these days we have all our divisions together, which is juniors, development team and professional men team. And we've been watching closely, we've been looking closely to our juniors and development riders, and I know they have bright future. We have some good talents out there. And that's why I feel very excited about the future, because I know we'll have strong team. We just need few years to develop those guys to a good level, and who knows, maybe we're gonna find superstar there. And well, I hope we will. I think the surprising was the change that we made from a little bit like, you know, young team in 2013 to where we are now, and riders' commitment. And I proudly say that our riders are fully committed to this program, and they follow our direction from two. And that's why we made this progress, and that's why I look forward to 2021. I would say we're definitely lucky we have this fortune to have this amazing partnership with Novo Nordisk. And look, since this project is so unique, I wouldn't say like, you know, we have super budget. We have budget like any other pro-continental team, so we can run operation properly, and our riders, they have what they need. But we also need to have budget for juniors, for development team, for medical team, to make sure all those guys, they have great support. And that's why it's all begin from juniors to development and to professional level. And you know, that's why in 2021, guys who are juniors now, they could be the key in this team. So I would say, yes, we are lucky to have this great partnership with Novo Nordisk, and 2021 Tour de France is our goal, and we cannot go without juniors or development. We need to find those riders, we need to develop them and bring to professional level. Riders need to be committed for sport. I know like juniors, they still go to school, and they should have two priorities at this time, school and cycling. And we're gonna monitor them, we already do that, and at one point, once they're ready, we bring them to development team. Development team, it's basically our like continental team. They have a big place near Atlanta where they live. They have mechanics, masseurs, directors on site, and they travel from Atlanta to races around the United States and abroad. Yes, it's a development team, but it's actually like continental level team. And once we see some guys showing progress that they're ready for professional level, we check them closely with the physiological test, and then if they're ready, we move them to professional team. A professional, of course, you know, if you have talent, if you committed to cycling, if you team player, you will succeed. Brian, he's very special, because Brian, he's coming from running. He was European champion, a multinational champion, and that's why he already has big engine. When we saw his physiological test, we've been like, wow, this guy already has big engine. So the question is how comfortable he's gonna be on a bike handling, and that's why we provide him soft program last year to get him up to speed. But physically, he's in a good shape. So he needs to race more, and I'm sure he will succeed. If we have more riders like him, of course, our job gonna be a little bit easy. So I'm very excited about season. Sometimes, like, you know, yes, something that I'm worried about, and but to tell exactly, I think I may get up one of these nights, not worried, but with excitement, because we're going to Milano-San Remo. So I think every manager has top days and a little bit low days. When you worry about your team, when you worry about things around, you just want to make sure everything is done as should be, done properly.
My name is Justine Bodie-Lyons, and I'm a nurse practitioner and certified diabetes educator for Team Novo Nordisk. We have a professional cycling team, and all of the athletes have type 1 diabetes, and they cycle and race and compete with the best in the world. A lot goes into account managing the riders with type 1 diabetes. We take into account obviously their blood glucose levels, their nutrition, their diet. They check their blood glucose very frequently throughout the day, every day, and this is a big part of our education process right from the beginning with all the athletes, is educating them on testing and to try to be in the best shape they can be living with diabetes. So we follow them from home. All of our athletes have a continuous glucose monitor, which is a device that measures blood sugar continuously all through the day and all through the night. And the riders, while they're home, they send us their data once a week, and we review it and see when they were above or below target, and we can give advice as far as insulin adjustments, nutrition, any changes they may need to make. We start from the beginning with the juniors and the devos. All of them are coming from different backgrounds in several different countries, and so we have to do a lot of education, and some of them don't know what carbohydrate counting is when they come, so carbohydrate counting is directly related to meal planning with diabetes, and the carbohydrate in the food directly impacts blood glucose levels when you have diabetes. So teaching them that and teaching them how to adjust insulin before, during, after exercise, and again with the frequent blood glucose checking, it's a lot of education in the beginning and a lot of follow-up, and then with the professional riders you see they fine-tune and they understand, they feel their high or low blood sugars, and with time the junior and development team will get there as well. So we basically try to teach the athletes how to eat and what is appropriate, what's an appropriate amount of carbohydrate, how does carbohydrate affect their blood sugar. We recommend that they eat mostly complex carbohydrates with their meals because this doesn't cause a change in glucose as rapidly as simple carbohydrates such as juice, sugar. We also teach them the basics of how to manage their diabetes, treat high and low blood sugars when they're racing, and just try to stay in this target zone so that they can compete with the other athletes. And really our riders, if they can take charge of their diet, then their diet doesn't vary that much from other athletes in the peloton. They just have to think ahead and plan ahead, and they can eat as the other riders, but they need to think ahead and think about their diabetes management. It's amazing, really. It's inspiring, and I've been with the team since it started in 2012, and I just think it's a great group of people. I think they're really inspiring, really the whole world. Anyone with diabetes, I think, knows who this team is at this point, 3 years later. And I'm just really proud of the guys. They've come a long way, and I think they're doing an amazing thing. So what one person eats may not work for the next person. Everyone has their own diabetes regimen, and they all work with their doctors at home too. So everyone has an endocrinologist or a diabetes doctor who they go to and see at home. But everyone's really individual and takes different amounts. So we look for patterns and try to help them along the way.
I'm Phil Southerland, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Team Novo Nordisk. For the last 11 years, we've been working first with Team Type 1, trying to raise awareness and build visibility that you could pursue a dream with diabetes. And we've done an amazing job as Team Type 1 doing that on a global basis through the sport of cycling, which is something I've done for the last, I guess we're talking 20 years now. And then in 2012, I had the opportunity to meet a gentleman at Novo Nordisk by Jakob Rees, and we had a good discussion about what I want to do for cycling, what he was looking to do for diabetes, and it's kind of our missions and our visions aligned very nicely. And the one catch to the program was Jakob wanted to do an all-diabetic professional cycling team. So we scoured the planet looking for anyone with diabetes who had ridden a bike and wanted to race a bike, and created this team. Now, that was, I guess, 3.5 years ago, or 3 years ago. And then you fast forward to now where we are, and it's just it's a completely different project and something that's just so exciting and so thrilling to do. These athletes are changing the world for people with diabetes. I don't remember a single day in my life without diabetes. I was diagnosed when I was 7 months old, so we're talking 33 and a half years now living with this disease. And when I grew up, it was always constantly being told everything that you could not do with diabetes. Now, unfortunately, I'm stubborn and I don't listen to people who say you can't do something and push through that, but I've seen a lot of people with diabetes who, when they were told, you can't eat cake, or you can't ride a bike, or you can't, they listen and they get discouraged and they don't live good lives with this disease. And the power of hope and diabetes is priceless. And so to think that now we've got a team of athletes with diabetes racing in some of the biggest races in the world, competing and doing well in some of the biggest races in the world, we get to deliver hope to people on a global scale. And to be able to provide that one bit of hope which can change the whole course trajectory for someone's life, I do it, and I'm passionate because I get the notes of thanks from the parents of kids with diabetes, from the people with diabetes, and from the athletes here who we've impacted. It's a cool way to earn a living. Right? The goals for the team this year are simple. We need victories, because we won once last year. We want more podiums. We want to be more consistently at the top of the game. Last year we measured ourselves by top 10, so the past 3 years. And if you look at 2013, we were the 140th ranked team in the world with 18 top 10 finishes. Then 22 and 130th ranked team in the world. And then this year we had 37 top 10 finishes, 2015, 37 top 10 finishes, and we're now the 66th ranked team in the world. It's pretty cool, and it's amazing progress that we've made in these 3 years. So we just want to keep ramping up that scale of success. And the way you improve the ranking is by being on the podium, because those are points, and these guys got to really start to have the confidence in themselves that they can win, because the numbers show that they've got the power to do so. Now it's going to be the heads that are going to break through for us. So the long-term goal is what it's been for since I was 12 years old, and that's to get to the Tour de France. Our objective is very much to do it by the year 2021. We would like to celebrate the 100th year of life for people with diabetes, the 100th year of the invention of insulin, by putting this all-diabetic team into the most visible sporting event in the world. So that's the where we're going. We've got a lot of steps that we have to take before getting to the top of that staircase, but we're making progress. And these guys believe that they can do it, and after having spent a lot of time with our development team, there's a lot of young kids and a whole new generation of people who not only believe they can do it, they know they can do it, and they know they're going to do it with our team. There's a few things that have evolved drastically with the development and junior teams, and one, these kids come into the program controlling their diabetes. A lot of them come in through our talent ID camps, so they get week-long sessions of learning how to manage diabetes while racing a bike. And so we see, and then they know that to be a good bike racer with diabetes, you have to control it. It's not just go out and ride a bike. There's a lot of steps that we have to take to make sure blood glucose is where it needs to be, which then allows our riders to perform. So these kids are working at it. And the control that these kids have over their diabetes management is it's phenomenal. It's better than any other random pool of people from around the world that I've seen, that I've worked with. So that's that from a diabetes management perspective. But then we got some damn good athletes and kids who, because of this team, believe that they can get to the Tour de France, and they see the pathway through our program to do so. And then the last piece, which I think is most exciting about the Devo and junior kids, is they all want to change. They all want to inspire. They all want to educate. They all want to empower other people out there, because they've seen what the impact of this team has had on them, and they want to be a part of that new way of life for the millions of people who are living with diabetes today. We have a great relationship with Novo Nordisk, and it's open, honest relationship where there's a lot of interaction on a daily basis with various employees and all corners of the earth. So, and Novo Nordisk, like all pharmaceutical companies, has to take a very long view, on development. So when I said in 2012 that we'd like to get to the Tour de France by 2021, well, that's 9 years away. And when they develop a drug formula, and then it's got to get through phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 trials. It takes 10 years to develop a drug. So we're taking 10 years, maybe less than 10 years, and a lot less money to launch this hope and inspiration for the world, which is, I think, a good way to have a partnership. And we've got a niche in marketing pharmaceutical companies, and we've done that very successfully for the past 10 years. But to have a partnership that's where we're so aligned together really makes all of our jobs easier in the grand scheme of things. We bring people in who want to be bike racers, and we let them know from the start that not all of you are going to make it to the professional team, but we want to give you all the chance to try. And the practice that they get in managing their diabetes when trying to qualify for our junior team, our development team, or the professional team, that's a practice that's going to last with them for the rest of their lives. And they're going to have been a part of this and have seen how people can live with diabetes when it's well managed, and whether it's, and that'll stay with them for life. And a lot of them don't make it. We've had some kids that have been with us and then have left, and because not everything was at the right time in the right place for that person, and then they work harder and they have a little bit more discipline and they come back stronger. So it's everyone who's been a part of this program will always be a part of this family, and I consider everyone with diabetes in the world as our teammates, and the kids who come and then go, they're still part of the team and the family. For these guys to race their bikes professionally, they have to be inspired, educated, and empowered, period. And then to do all that with diabetes, it's just, they're living their dreams. And that's what we're trying to show to people with diabetes and people in general around the world, that pursue your dream. But when you have diabetes, if you have a dream, and I encourage everyone to dream and dream big, you got to first control your diabetes. And so these guys are proving that with good control, you can pursue, you can achieve your dreams. And that's, they live it every day. They ride a bike, whether they're in a race, whether they're out training. They're now the face of diabetes for the world. And I think they all take great pride in that responsibility. Right now, the data is being used to help our athletes better manage their diabetes. We have a very dynamic and extensive healthcare program team behind the team, who's constantly working with the athletes to make sure that their diabetes management is as best as it can be. And the athletes are then improving, their lives are getting better, their race results are getting better, our ranking is getting better. And in time, we hope that we have enough data that some big company will come along and help us to analyze, so that we can transform it into a big educational platform for the general sporting world. So at the time, we're in collection and usage for our own team, but I very much see this as a platform for the future to deliver everything that we know to everyone in the world with diabetes, and that's something I very much look forward to doing. Just the excitement of the next person that we can impact, the next life that we can change, keeps me going. And there's not often a week that goes by that someone doesn't send me some impactful message of what we've done for them, how their lives have changed, how their daughter's life has changed, how their son's life has changed, and thanking me and thanking this organization for what we meant to them at a point where they needed it most. And there's others out there that we don't know. There's 381 million people in the world with diabetes. There's 20 plus million people with type 1 diabetes. They need this hope. They need this drive. And until we've reached every single one of them, I'll still have a job to do. And that's very much what drives me to get to the Tour de France, because it is the only globally recognized cycling event. The Giro d'Italia is an amazing race, and it's a close second. But you go to far countries around the earth, they know the Tour. And so when we get there, the world will see and be delivered the empowerment needed so that every kid with diabetes, every person with diabetes can one day dream big. And so until that happens, you'll see us racing our bikes. To keep finding the young athletes is the key to sustainability for our program. Because Javier Mejias is a great athlete, but he's 32 years old. We've seen that he could have 10 good years left in his career if he did Jens Voigt style. But we have to make sure that we can continue delivering this amazing product of inspiration, of empowerment, of education to people for years to come, because everyone's always going to need hope, and we need to constantly be the source of that hope for people with diabetes. And the kids, really, I mean, I just get such joy of spending time with the development team, and little Sam Monday, who's 17 years old, just always with a positive attitude. Sam, how'd you like that 25% climb? Well, it's not very good for me. I like the shorter climbs, but I'm light, so I got over it no problem. It's just this kind of youthful enthusiasm that it keeps me young. So they're key to my personal success. But we both have the dream. If they get to the Tour de France, their dreams come true. But if they get to the Tour de France, my dream comes true. So we're in the business of helping each other. And again, it's some new talent that we haven't found yet or hasn't been diagnosed yet, who could be not just at the Tour de France, but the champion of the Tour de France one day, which would be a pretty damn cool thing to do.
My name is Carl Bilbo. I'm Corporate Vice President in Novo Nordisk. It actually started back in 2012 when we first met with Phil Southerland, the co-founder of the team. And we were very inspired meeting with Phil, and that started a chain reaction which led to the formation of Team Novo Nordisk in 2012. Now, we believe that we develop some of the world's best and most innovative biological medicines, and that's a necessity. You have to have medicines, the best medicines in the world, to treat diabetes. But it takes more than that. It takes awareness, it takes understanding, insight of diabetes, and it requires inspiration also for all the people around that they can manage their disease. And we have found that Team Novo Nordisk does that to a degree we could not do. They act as role models for people with diabetes. They show not what you can do despite diabetes, but what you can do with diabetes. And as such, they tell a remarkable story which we think affects us. It affects, we believe, also many people around the world. The sponsorship essentially has a goal to create awareness. This is the main and foremost. Inspire, educate and empower people with diabetes. That's the first and foremost. Every race has its own set goals. We don't affect that. The team set those for that goal. And ultimately, I'm sure that the team would love to participate in one of the major races. We would love to be part of that. We would love to see that. But you can say that's actually just an ends. For us, it's more important the journey towards that, the awareness they and we can create on diabetes. Well, we are on a local level in every operation and country we operate in. We are engaging in healthy lifestyle. So we have a numerous activities in this regard. We have nothing of this size on a global level. In that regard, Team Novo Nordisk is an absolute unique project of ours. We see it as more than a project. It's a relationship, as you said earlier on, an intimate relationship. We feel as one with them in their quest for doing better with diabetes and doing fantastic in sports. It's not about money. I mean, if we wanted, you can say, a big spread magazine in Time magazine, we could do that. But we don't think that creates the emotions. It doesn't create the change that is needed to understand diabetes. So what we believe we have found here in this relationship with Team Novo Nordisk is a way to communicate and engage people with diabetes. This team has close to 2 million followers on Facebook, and I encourage anybody viewing this clip actually to follow them. As I said earlier on today, I mean, you have to be a teenager to understand what 2 million followers means. It's a lot. And that is because they inspire people. They inspire people with diabetes. They inspire their families. They inspire their healthcare professionals and even the public. I have a personal affiliation with the team, and that's because I too have diabetes. I have type 1 diabetes. And when they do good, I feel proud. They touch something in me, and that's why I can relate to the emotional response that the team affects, how they affect people with diabetes. It feels good when somebody with diabetes does well. And it's not just about the sports performance, it is the daily management of diabetes, which can be a struggle for teenagers with type 1 diabetes, for adults with type 2 diabetes, and we believe that this team can do what we can't do alone.